Hey everyone, today I want to walk you through three powerful tools you already have access to with your Claude subscription: your regular Claude Chat, Claude Cowork, and Claude Code. I'll walk you through all three step by step with real examples for each, including how Claude can turn a simple Excel file into a fully interactive dashboard, and how it can automatically sort and organize invoices on your computer and build you a finished expense report. Before we dive in, let's do a quick overview of what each of these three tools actually does. The classic Claude Chat you probably already know. You use it for asking questions, getting answers, doing online research, uploading files, and asking questions about them. Then there's Cowork. Think of it as your personal AI agent that actually lives on your computer and can access locally stored files. You connect the folders you want it to work with, and it can see and work with those files just like you would, building reports, sorting folders, working through multi-step tasks completely on its own. And then there's Code, built specifically for writing and editing actual code. Instead of you writing every line yourself, you just describe what you want, and Claude builds it for you. For example, dashboards, entire apps, websites, or automations from scratch. Let's start with Claude Chat. Just a quick recap, since you probably already use this daily, but here's a few things that might still be new to you. Firstly, Claude actually has memory. Even in a brand new chat, it can remember relevant context from your previous conversations. So you don't have to dig through old chats, repeat yourself every time, or explain the same background over and over again. If it's not already on for you, you can find that under Settings, then you search Capabilities. Just make sure the first two memory toggles there are switched on. Secondly, if you want Claude to answer something in more depth, you can switch to research mode. Claude then searches the web extensively and gives you a much more thorough, well-researched answer. On top of that, you can also increase the effort level and turn on extended thinking for those kinds of tasks. For everyday questions though, that's usually not necessary. Another thing is, once you've had a conversation, you can ask Claude to turn what you discussed into an actual Word document or directly into a downloadable PDF file. Honestly, I barely write Word documents myself anymore. I just discuss it with Claude and have it output the final version. And on top of that, Claude Chat also works now directly inside Word and Excel. Especially useful for Excel, since it gets full context of what's already in the file, so it can adjust existing formulas, add new ones, or just build something from scratch if that's what you need. If you're interested, I might cover that in more detail in a separate video, but for now, let's move on to the main part: Claude Cowork. Alright, Claude Cowork. This is where it gets really powerful. As I said, Cowork is basically your personal AI agent that lives directly on your computer. You connect the folders you want it to work with, and from there it can read, edit, organize, and create files completely on its own, working through entire tasks without you doing every step manually. So here are a few examples of what you can actually do with Cowork. File organization. Claude takes all your invoices or documents in a folder, renames them, and builds a new folder structure sorted by category. Expense reports. You drop your receipts into a folder, and Claude builds you a finished expense report in Excel. Online research plus Excel. Claude researches key figures or data online, builds you an Excel file with the results, and creates a separate folder with all the sources. Word or PowerPoint from documents. Claude reads through all the documents in a folder and either writes you a summary in Word or builds an entire PowerPoint presentation from it. And lastly, due diligence analysis. Claude goes through a large set of documents and creates a structured summary or flags anything that stands out. Now let's take a closer look at the first two examples, file organization and expense reports, and go through the actual setup step by step. One important thing before we start: Cowork is currently only available through the Claude desktop app, so you'll need to download that to your computer to use it. Web and mobile support is planned for the future, but for now, it's desktop only. Okay, in the desktop app, we select Claude Cowork at the top. Then open up a new conversation and choose a specific folder we want to work in. I've created a new one called Cowork Playground. Diving right into an example, I've added a folder full of receipts to the Playground folder, a mix of PDFs and JPEGs. I tell Cowork, look, I need an expense report from the receipt photos in my receipts folder. Give me an Excel spreadsheet with a date, vendor, category, amount, and a totals row. If anything's blurry or unclear, mark it. Cowork first lists out the steps it plans to take, waits for my confirmation, then reads through every single image, extracts the relevant information, and outputs a formatted Excel file directly into my folder. And as you can see, there are also flagged rows for me to double check. Now, is that possible in Claude Chat? Not really. Chat has a file limit per conversation, and we have way more receipts than that. And even if we had fewer, Chat would only give us a spreadsheet inside the chat window. We'd still have to download it and save it somewhere ourselves. But there's more we can do with Cowork. For example, here I have a folder full of invoices, and I want Cowork to go through all of them, figure out the appropriate categories itself based on what each invoice is for, organize them into subfolders accordingly, and rename each folder and file clearly based on its content. And once Cowork is done, the previously messy folder now looks like this, everything organized and clearly labeled. I could also tell Cowork to sort the invoices by year and month instead, and it would handle that just as easily. You can really get creative here and hand off pretty much any organizational task to Cowork. Alright, last but not least, Claude Code. As I mentioned, code is built specifically for writing and editing actual code. Instead of writing every line yourself, you basically describe what you want and Claude does the coding work directly for you, including testing and fixing it along the way. Dashboards. You can build personalized, interactive dashboards from your data, whether that's Excel files, PDFs, or anything else, and they automatically update as soon as new data comes in. Your own CRM or ERP. Claude can build you a fully functioning, smaller system exactly the way you want it, tailored to how you actually work. Data visualization and reports on demand. Turn raw Excel or CSV data into professional charts or reports that are ready to present without touching Excel yourself. Building websites. You just describe what you want and Claude builds it for you. And lastly, automations and scripts. Claude can automate recurring tasks like renaming and organizing files for you. Let's take the first example, dashboards, and look at it using a real concrete case so you can see exactly how Claude Code actually works. Good news, Code can be used both in the desktop app and in the web app. Okay, next let's build an interactive dashboard. For that, I created a new folder called Claude Code Dashboard. Inside this folder, I've already placed an Excel file with financial metrics. Claude Code will use this data to build the dashboard. To get started, we select the Claude Code tab and start a new session. At the bottom, we can choose which folder Claude Code should work in and later save its code to. Here we select the folder that contains our Excel file, so Claude can read it directly. We just quickly grant Claude Code access to that folder and we're ready to start with the prompt. To keep it simple, I give Claude the following prompt. Build me an interactive portfolio dashboard from this Excel file. Show all portfolio companies in a heat map view, color-coded by performance based on revenue growth and EBITDA margin. Green for outperforming, yellow for on track, red for underperforming. Let me click on any company to see a detailed view with revenue and EBITDA trends over time, plus a simple slider to simulate different revenue growth scenarios and see the impact on EBITDA. And Claude Code immediately starts writing and building the dashboard. If you don't want to confirm every single step, you can also turn on auto mode in the settings, and Claude will keep working until it's done. For coding heavy tasks like this, it's also worth switching to a stronger model like Opus or Sonnet with a higher effort level. Once Claude is done coding, it automatically opens the dashboard, fully functional, with everything we asked for and completely interactive. You can either use the dashboard directly inside Claude or open it in your web browser as well. And here's the finished dashboard. At the top, we get an instant overview. 4 portfolio companies, total portfolio revenue, blended EBITDA margin, and headcount across all holdings. Below that is the performance heat map, where each company is scored and color-coded based on its revenue growth and EBITDA margin. Green for outperforming, yellow for on track, red for underperforming. We can also sort the companies by different criteria, by performance score, revenue, revenue growth, EBITDA margin, or just alphabetically. This makes it really easy to quickly spot which companies need attention. Now if I click on one of the companies, in this case Greenwave Energy Systems, we get a detailed view. Revenue and EBITDA trends over the last 6 quarters, and below that, the scenario model I asked for. Here I can drag the slider to simulate different annual revenue growth rates and immediately see the projected impact on EBITDA over the next 4 quarters, including the exact exit revenue, exit EBITDA, and implied margin. exactly what we asked Claude to build, and it's fully interactive. And that's it for these 3 topics. As always, if you have requests for future videos, or if there's anything I can help you with personally, just let me know anytime. See you soon.